The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Hi, I'm your host, Karen Miranda. Welcome to Whispers from the Otherside. We are coming to you live from VCAT TV. And if you would like a spirit reading, join me for lunch. Sit down, relax, and take a deep breath and just unwind. Today, I want to talk to you about hearing spirits. I always said to my daughter Michelle, and one of my friends actually, I don't like to hear them. Sometimes she said to me, "Why?" I said, "I don't know. There's just I don't mind seeing, I don't mind feeling, but hearing, it's like, oh my goodness." And so, anyways, I have a couple of things I'd like to share with you. I was at the Spiritist Church in Quincy, and I was doing what they call Medium's Day, which is where all the mediums go and do a fundraiser for the church, and people get to come and make an appointment with their favorite medium. And when day was almost over and it was empty, there was just myself and another medium inside the church, and somebody was doing spirit out in the back room, and all of a sudden we heard a clink. We thought maybe that the person that was doing the spirit art was still there, and we just looked at each other, and it was the sound of a pencil dropping on the floor. And it was nice because we both experienced that too. And I said, "All right, I keep telling you guys I don't want to hear you. I don't mind the other stuff, but I guess it goes with the territory with the mediumship. I really, And so we just looked at each other, and we looked back, and we didn't see anybody, but it happened again. So we just were like smiling and thanked them for coming. Then there was another time. Sometimes you get into that deep sleep when spirits come in to visit you, and I was in a deep sleep at home, and it was night. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes when you have experiences with spirit communication, that's one of their times, is 12, 3, and something about 5 o'clock time that they come into at that particular time in the morning. It's got to be maybe just because everybody's so relaxed. And spirit will give you what you could handle. And I was in a deep sleep. And all of a sudden I woke up to Karen. And I was hearing it out of my head because this inner hearing with telecommunication, telepathic communication, and then there's outside your ear. So I was in a dead sleep, and I heard the voice, and I recognized the voice, and I said, "Okay, if it's you, Uncle Larry, can you go to see Auntie Eleanor, because her husband passed away. They're both now since on the other side in heaven." So I didn't think about it until a couple of days later. I said, "I'm going to call my aunt up, because I haven't talked to her in a while." And she's, I got, I got the kids off to school and everything like that. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to go get the phone." It's the old-fashioned touch the dial tone, which I do miss. I'm old school that way. But so when I went over to the phone, I called her, and she was home. I was really glad because she gets up really, really early. And I said, "Okay." And so we got talking, and she said, "Karen, I have something to tell you." And I said, "What's that?" She said, last night I was woken up and I heard Uncle Larry's voice, and I said, "Oh, really? What did he say?" And she told me he said to say hello. And I said, "What else did he say?" He said that was it, but I embraced the moment, and she was so happy to hear that he went. I was happy to hear that he went to her, and she was happy to hear from him. Even though she just said Eleanor, her name, very soft, because he was a soft-spoken gentleman. And so I said, okay, and I thanked her for that, because I usually don't like to hear them, like I said, but when that happened, I was just so glad. Usually, you know how people are, you don't change over there. I mean, you do change, you do learn your life lessons or whatever you got to do over there too. And I said to her, I was so glad because I heard them too. And there was one other time I was at home, and it was actually daytime, and one of my other uncles, close uncles, passed away. And I was busy in the kitchen cleaning up and everything like that, and all of a sudden I heard Karen, and I know it was my other uncle that had passed away. And I said, hi, and I just didn't know what to say, because sometimes, I get surprised too, especially with the hearing part of it. And I said to him, is it you, Uncle Charlie? And he didn't answer back. He just said my name. It let me know he was there. There are all kinds of signs and symbols that, spirits will communicate, and hearing voices are real and stuff like that. So I always say, no thanks, but they do find ways to communicate if they want to get a message across. So I thanked Uncle Charlie. And after that, I didn't hear anything for the longest time. And I said, that's okay. They just let me know that they were there and visiting and stuff like that. So I said, all right. And another thing I wanted to talk to you about is when you're in a deep sleep like that, it's called the twilight state. And I was sleeping in a sound sleep. And then I got woken up. And there were these boys. I looked at them and I rubbed my eyes twice. And I only saw were their faces. And they weren't from this generation or time frame. And I said, that's really cool. And they were just like they were carrying on like they normally would. And I said, oh, thank you. There wasn't any message. They were just letting me know that they haven't changed on the other side, that they were there, and they were just letting me know that, because it came in so strong. But I was able to draw one of the young men, actually, that came in, and it was really quick. So I said, thank you for coming, because I know it takes a lot of energy. Other things that your deceased loved ones, those are just some of the things I wanted to share with you guys, because I know people always have questions. And so what was wonderful was when they did that, I said, it wasn't the first time I would have like visitations from the other side with spirits. So I just gotta, take notes if I can, or draw it out and stuff like that, so that way I remember, because sometimes it could be overwhelming with hearing and seeing. One time I can remember I was at somebody's house, and it was fun because it was all a bunch of other mediums there. And it's fun to get readings being a medium too. So at the end of it, everybody was talking around the table, and they said, does anybody really see? And it was dead silent for a couple of minutes, until all of a sudden 12 people looked at me. I said, why is everybody looking at me for? I'm just a medium, delivering the messages, because they knew I did see. It just depends on, sometimes it could be like the littlest thing. That could be the biggest validation. And I said, okay, thanks, guys. But it was a real fun night. The other thing I want to talk about, if you ever see birds or butterflies, that could be your deceased loved ones to let you know we are here. And I said, it's a nice thing, because I see a lot of roses and not birds or butterflies, but I saw cats too. And it was really nice because, that's just another way of your loved ones letting you know that we are here watching over us. They know they don't follow us in the shower. Just in case you were wondering that, they just see your energy and things like that, which is like a ball of light. And when I was developing as a medium, I would see that ball of energy. It's beautiful. And when I would see that ball of energy, it was like then all of a sudden the information came in from the person who was there that it didn't fully manifest. That's how they just wanted to present themselves to me. And so I said, I got to ask the Reverend about this. And what was really, really nice was when I went to the Reverend, I said to her, sometimes I don't fully see them. They, show me things they owned, and I, what they share their memories with me. And she said, that's okay. Isn't that the best way? I said, yeah, it kind of is, because it's really nice, and the color's beautiful. I said to her, I thanked her for letting me know that, because sometimes, you get hungry and you want to know, like, okay, so what's this about? What's that about? And it's nice to know, that you're not cuckoo. And I just figured I would share those couple of things with you. And then there was another time I was at a restaurant in Quincy. It's not there anymore. And my late ex-husband was pulling out of the driveway and going to back up. And I said, oh, you gotta hit the girl that's in the parking lot. I did want to say that to him, but I didn't say that to him. And I said to him, afterwards, this is blah, blah, blah. He goes, I'm not into that stuff, Karen, like you are. And I said, okay. So, but I was fortunate enough to find out that I was able to find out who the person belonged to. And it was just so fast, because that's how, they are. It just takes a lot of energy. I know I'm all over the place, something different, right? But, it takes a lot of energy for them to come through like that, and even to show, like, their aura. And I thanked her for, understanding who the young girl was and everything like that. And I did that, and I'm going to get going with the sketch. And if anyone wants to call and have a reading or just, talk about mediumship, feel free. Those are just some of the things I want to share with you. And also, you just never know how they're going to present themselves. That's why, like, a lot of times when I'm out, I'll have I used to bring my sketch pad everywhere. And when I would see stuff, because it would come in so fast like that, like I said to you guys, with the energy, it does take a lot. And I would have to go really fast with my hand because of how Spirit was coming in. And it was funny about the hearing part of it, though, because, like I said, I don't want to hear. But then when they go out of their way, I said, I know it's a gift, and it was a blessing, really. Because I know, some people don't believe in mediumship, and that's okay, because that's their free will, We all have a free will. And she had long hair. Big blue eyes. But I've learned to accept when I do hair, because, I just said to myself, it's not about me. I had to remind myself that. And mediumship and spirit communication is different every time, but you do grow with it. You really do. And there's always something to learn. And I'm still learning. I still like to, learn whatever I can. In symbols, sometimes, like, I'll see wedding bands too, and that would be like something that was personal to the person that's coming through. One time I can remember, I really can't talk about the reading, but my house at the particular time with the clairvoyant part of it was lighting up and these different things. And so I said, I knew somebody was at something. So I took the piece of paper and, sorry about that, was drawing, and all of a sudden I saw like symbols that were coming in. When I saw someone, so I said, I don't want to upset you, but because she was open to all this and stuff like that. She said, I got something to show you, but before she could show me the little thing they made up, the family, I showed her what I had on the paper. Then she just looked at me, and it was something that was on the mask. That, like, wow. And I've learned not to question it. I'm a lot better at that than when I first started developing. It just became a trust issue. And if you ever smell a cologne at home that your loved one had, and they're not in the room, that's just them. That's just another way of them letting them, that they are there. Is through perfume. This is what I have so far. She's young. And the other thing I want to talk to you about is prayer. Prayer does help them to, when they first go on the other side. Gotta give her a little braid. She liked wearing braids in her hair, but have it down. And sometimes during a reading, spirits can get very long-winded. Or they could be right to the point. Someday what I do is show, I'm going to have some of the drawings hanging up in the back. I'm not very good at drawing braids, so this is the best I could do. Big, big eyes. One thing about the drawings, I never know. One minute my hair goes in one direction when I start drawing them, and then the next thing you know, it goes totally different. And she's not alone on the other side. Just want her family to know. And I'm very blessed to be able to share my gifts with you guys. Oh, and I just let you know, skeptics are welcome to call too. And every time I come on, I'm just going to share like a little piece of information with you. That's why I say if you want to know anything, feel free to call. And it was something when I first started hearing our deceased loved ones, because I said, I don't mind seeing, I don't mind feeling, but the hearing issue, as long as somebody knows who it is that's coming in. There we go again with the lips, I know, right? What's wonderful about what I heard at the church, it was nice to know that somebody else was experiencing the same thing at the same time. And yes, you can, if you're in a room with somebody else, you can experience some of the same stuff and pick up. I'm still not very good at lips, so. There we go. And she liked flowers. Okay, I'm going to show you her one more time. And thank you for tuning in. And we're going to be here next month on the 23rd.
Yes.
And our loved ones are gone, but not forgotten. Yeah, just a thought away. I just want to put her up one more time. There she is. If anybody recognizes her, like I said, I'm gonna put everything, try to put some pictures up at the back, so that way, if you do see something that you do recognize and you don't right away when I do drawings, if that way you'll say, gee, I know who that person is. Our loved ones are gone, but not forgotten, and just a thought away. And it was